Welcome to the CubiCasa webinar. My name's Hud Bixler, and we've got our friends Joseph McDermott and Daniela from CubiCasa here. And we're gonna have some fun here. We're gonna talk about things that you guys need that are just available. And one of those things are free floor plans for all. I did make that announcement for this session as free floor plans for all because that's really what this is. There are upgrades, 3D tours, other kinds of things that we're going to see that you actually will have the benefit of taking advantage if you'd like to. It's totally optional. Plus, we're giving you a nice discount in order to take advantage of those. And I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you where to find everything, then I kick it over to the CubiCasa team. So you should be familiar with the dashboard. Hopefully everybody can see my screen. Yes, okay, good. This is the San Francisco dashboard. We have of course, our core applications. We have our forms and documents tools. We have our additional applications. Anytime you're seeing this premium banner, what that means is there is a free product involved, and there is also a premium charge if you want to upgrade to additional services. We felt that is a very transparent way to show that to our agents that yes, you get something for free, and then if you want to go further and upgrade, you can do that. So looking at these additional applications, we cruise over to CubiCasa. That's going to kind of give you your floor plans for free with upgrades. So if you click on that link, that's going to take you to a customized web page where you can sign up. Now, you may already have a CubiCasa account. Don't worry about that. You're still going to be able to take advantage of our 25% discount on additional products by just linking up your accounts. Joseph is going to show you all that good stuff. I'm just here to kind of make the introduction. Joseph, it's nice seeing you last week at CMLS. Please introduce yourself and let's get it started.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for letting me join you today. My name is Joseph. I oversee our MLS partnerships here at CubiCasa. I'm excited to chat with all of you today as we launch our partnership with San Francisco and bring you this amazing tool if you have not used it already. To start out, I'm going to share my screen real quick. And then I can't see anybody. So if I can just get a verbal confirmation when that pops up, that yes,
we're good.
Awesome.
We are good.
And that was Daniela that chimed in, by the way. She is joining me today from our success team. She'll give us a closer look at some of the tools and features available within CubiCasa, give you a quick look at the dashboard where you can access your floor plans, do all that good stuff after the fact. But to start out, I'll spend about 15, maybe 20 minutes with you walking through a few things. First and foremost, what CubiCasa is in general. We'll touch on the benefits of floor plans and why they're important to your listings. And then we'll take a look at the technology itself, so the CubiCasa mobile app, and give you a quick look at the different types of floor plans that will be available to you. From there, we'll pause to cover any sort of questions that have come in. We'll touch on a couple of common questions that we get from new users. And then, like I said, I'll toss it over to Daniela to dive into the product itself, show you that dashboard, show you how to access your floor plans, and give you a quick look where you can customize them, edit them, and access all your settings. It was also mentioned a second ago, if you have an existing account, you can still add your SFAR membership. So we'll show you how to do that within your account settings. Last bit of kind of housekeeping as we're walking through everything today, please feel free to use the Q&A. We'll be keeping tabs on that. We'll be available for questions at the end of the webinar. We also have live chat baked into both the mobile app and the desktop site, so it's very easy to reach us anyway. So the link that you saw through your MLS dashboard, you can click through that to create your account, or I've got the QR code on screen here. Either option will connect you with that sign up page to create your account. Don't feel rushed like you have to scan this now. We'll pull this up at the end. We'll leave it up on screen for a couple of minutes, or you can click through that link that Hud showed us a second ago. But with that, I think we are ready to dive in. So CubiCasa has one main goal here in the US, and that's to bring a floor plan to every single real estate listing across the country. So to start off, let's talk about the why behind that, how we came to be, and how you can actually use this as part of your day-to-day. So right now we're seeing a floor plan demand gap. Consumers are asking for floor plans to be included. They're already familiar with them on the rental and multifamily side of things. But when we look at active listings, not just in the San Francisco area, but across the country, they're only on about 15 to 20% of active listings. And if we look at the NAR Home Buyers and Sellers Survey, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this report. It comes out every year. But one of the questions that gets asked is what website features on a listing are considered the most valuable? And as expected, photos and detailed info about the property are always going to be number one and two. I personally don't count it as a listing if it doesn't have either of those. So what we can see is that floor plans are the single most desired add-on to a listing for what consumers want to see. We know the demand is there. If you look at this report from any time over the last few years, the results have remained very much unchanged. And what I find really interesting too is if you look at sort of the prime years of the pandemic, so 2020 through like 2022, floor plans even continued to outrank things like virtual tours. So it just goes to show that this is something that consumers are really, really interested in seeing when searching for their next home. But why are floor plans so important? I think the easiest way to boil it down is that it helps buyers understand the property's fit for their lifestyle. If you are on a search portal, for example, you pull up a listing, you're swiping through the photos on the carousel, you're essentially learning about that home room by room or sort of piece by piece. But when you have a floor plan to tie everything together, you have that easy to view quick glimpse into the entire property. So you can make sense of the flow of the space, how big the rooms are. You can understand if and where current furniture will fit. But I think the most important piece of having that floor plan is included is understanding if the property's layout suits your client's family. Are the kids' bedrooms near the primary bedroom, for example? Or on the flip side of that, are the bedrooms as far away from the parents as possible? Is there a dedicated space kind of off the main action of the home that could be used for a home office or a guest space? A floor plan is really going to be the best way to understand the property, make sense of those types of questions, and kind of tie all of the photos together since they're typically just of one single room at a time. So now that I've got you thinking about the benefits of floor plans kind of in general, why should you add them to your listings? There's a couple of key reasons that I like to highlight. First is that it allows you to stand out. So when you include floor plans and really just great media in general, one of the real world examples we're seeing a lot of success with is agents will actually scan the property while they're on site for a listing presentation. So not only are they showing that potential client, this extra work that they're going to put in to create awesome marketing materials for the home, but then gives a really nice touch point the following day when you can actually share the floor plan that was created with that potential client, with the homeowner, and go back over how you're going to use that as part of your marketing game plan. And plus, because floor plans are still kind of gaining traction in the US right now, it's an easy way for the listing to stand out, and then for you personally to stand out as being that sort of forward thinking agent in the market. And then the second key reason, as we talked about a second ago, consumers want to see floor plans. So this is a really easy way to appeal to potential home buyers and can even help you to generate better qualified leads who know and understand that that property actually fits their lifestyle and what they're looking for before taking any sort of next step. Now, outside of new listings, you can also use CubiCasa when working with your buyers to give them helpful resources as they're making the decision which home to move forward with. You can scan homes that you tour. It doesn't need to be just your listing, and be able to provide your clients not only with the floor plan itself, which is a helpful resource by itself, but there are additional detailed reports that you can create that will help them make the decision. Now, one of the really cool, exciting features that we rolled out a couple months ago is called snapshots. This actually allows you to take photos as you're walking through scanning the property, and then you'll get a floor plan report showing exactly where each of those photos was taken. So this is a nice way to highlight key features that maybe aren't included on the listing photos, or if you are working with first-time home buyers, this is a nice way to highlight things that are going to be new to them. So the location of the electrical panel, for example, or the water heater, water tank, it will populate the photos next to a floor plan showing exactly where that is within the space. Incorporating all of this into the day-to-day while working with buyers is not going to take up a ton of time. So this is a really easy way to show value to your clients as you help get them into their next home. As a best practice, I always like to note if it's not your listing, just check in with the listing agent before you actually scan the property. So everything that we've talked about thus far is kind of about floor plans in general. How does that lead into what CubiCasa is and why I'm actually talking with you today? So to give you some high level background, we started a number of years ago, essentially as a floor plan redraw service. But we've evolved into what we are today, which is an amazing mobile app that allows you to quickly and easily scan a property in just a couple of minutes to create an accurate floor plan, which will showcase the layout of the home, of course, like you see there, but then also be able to include things like the individual room dimensions for potential home buyers. Now, I'm sure you're probably thinking this is going to be a complicated, technical, time-consuming process. It's really quite the opposite. I promise it's probably easier than you're visioning in your head. If you look at this image on the right-hand side of the screen, that gives you a good glimpse into the steps that you'll take. So you'll open up the CubiCasa app, enter in and confirm the property address, and then you're ready to start the new scan. As you can see, it will pull up a view very similar to if you just opened up the camera app on your phone, and you'll be ready to walk the perimeter of each room in the space, include any outdoor spaces that you want featured on the floor plan, things like porches, patios, detached garages, all of that can be captured as part of the scan. As you're walking through scanning, you're going to get real-time feedback as well, which will help to make the process as easy as possible for you as the scanner. But the more important piece of that is it allows you to get the most accurate scan and measurements as the end result. The last thing I like to note before we take a look at an actual scan in action is that the app is available for both Apple and Android devices. Any device from the last 10 years will work for you. So now I want to take a look at an actual scan in action, and I'll send over the video or the link to this video just in case it's a little blurry or pixelated since we're over streaming. I'll send that in the chat box so you can come back and take a closer look. Unfortunately, I can't show a live demo of my computer, following me throughout as I scan the space that I'm in. So this will be the next best thing. You're going to see two separate views here. The main view of the video is just a screen recording of the device itself. So that's the actual app experience that you'll see. And then the picture-in-picture type view along the bottom is filming the woman as she's walking through doing the scan. So you can see exactly how she's holding the device and just kind of walking through the perimeter of the space. So first step up when you start that scan will be to select the property type. So if you have a single family home, apartment, condo, townhouse, any type of property can be scanned. And you'll be ready to walk the perimeter of the space, every room throughout the home. You'll see that sort of red caution tape pop up across the screen. That is that real-time feedback that I mentioned before. If you're moving too quickly, for example, if you get too close to a wall, that will pop up to help you along the way, kind of correct things and get the best possible scan for you. You'll scan all rooms in the interior of the space. We saw her go into a closet. We saw that living type space. Once you've captured everything on the interior of the home, without pausing or stopping in the scan, you can capture any outdoor spaces like this deck area here. You can even capture things like ADUs if you have pools in the backyard. All of that can be captured as part of that one single home scan. Once you've finished, you've captured everything inside and out, you'll be able to submit the scan directly in the app, and your floor plans will be available to download within 24 hours. It really is just as simple as you saw there, holding your phone and kind of walking throughout the home and capturing everything inside as well as outside.
Hey, Joseph, we got a couple of questions that are
Yeah.
relevant here. So let me just drop these on you here. So Paula asked, what's the margin of error and turnaround time? I think it's more like, we've discussed this a bit in our initial talks about even launching this product. Is the margin of error always comes about when we're talking about square footage and then us being responsible for that. So maybe you could talk a little bit how that works. And then I think the turnaround time is 24 hours, but you can correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Yep, for 2D products, it will be 24 hours. When it comes to accuracy, so we have a lot of helpful videos as you're getting started, things like best scanning practices, just little tips and tricks that will help you to get the most accurate scan as you go through. Turn on the lights before you start, open doors, things like that. I always recommend to kind of plan the route that you're going to take through the home in your head before you start. That way you don't get kind of mixed up on where you are in the space, that sort of thing. When it comes to the actual accuracy, if you're using an Android device or one of the older iPhones, you should see 95% plus accuracy. If you're using one of the newer iPhone Pros that use LiDAR, which is like the light detection scanning, that's a little bit more accurate. You should see anywhere from 97% plus accuracy for using those newer iPhone Pros. One thing to note is that all of our floor plans include a disclaimer along the bottom
Right.
that highlights that they've been captured, or the measurements have been captured by the CubiCasa app, deemed highly reliable but not guaranteed. So that will
And
kind
we
of
went over this. Yeah, we went over this with MLS and Tech because those exact same questions were asked.
Yeah, so that will kind of cover, that couple percentage variance. But the other thing to note too is that you can actually save the floor plans without the dimensions included. So typically, I would say the layout of the space is a little bit more important than the actual dimensions of each room. So you can save that out, more of like a marketing type floor plan where it will just have the room labels, of course, have all of the rooms outlined and everything there, but the measurements would actually be removed from the floor plan at that point.
That's right. We can toggle that on and off. And so, two follow-up questions while we're here is: are there plans to develop scans that can be linked together? I believe the current requirement is that it has to be one long continuous scan, which I believe you just showed us. Is that accurate?
Yes, so it does need to be one continuous scan of the property as a whole. If you do end up forgetting to scan something, say like the garage, for example, or maybe you
Right.
have a bedroom at the back of the house, an addition or something like that. If that is the case, you can submit a fixed request after the fact. You can send us reference photos, things like that, and our production team can add things after the fact. If you're missing like a whole wing of the house or something like that, I would recommend just do a new scan at that point where you capture everything as part of one continuous scan. That way you're getting the most accurate floor plan and accurate measurements as well.
That sounds good. So it's all about pre-planning and maybe even practicing. I was just kind of thinking maybe I would just, scan my house first, just kind of
Yes.
get in, walk through that process. I mean, those are some of the tips that I'm kind of gleaming from what you're showing. But those are all the questions now. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's a good tip. That's actually something I recommend. Do a test scan of your own home. You're already going to be familiar with the layout of the space. You're probably already familiar with the measurements and things like that. So it's a good way to practice, get a little bit familiar with the app. And since you do have unlimited access to the free basic floor plans, there's no harm in kind of playing around with it for a few times before you actually scan your
Right.
listing for a
One,
property with fire.
one final follow-up. And this is a great question for our San Francisco marketplace. How do we how about multi-level properties? So we have a lot of, one example would be we sell 2-unit buildings, for example,
Mhm.
um, or you have a 2-story home. So there's that, process where you're going to scan one level and the next level. Are those two separate scans then in that
No.
case?
So
So I'm going
in
up the
that case,
stairs. Okay.
yeah. So in that case, I would recommend separating by unit. So if you have, say, a 3-story home, the top 2 stories are one unit, the basement is a separate unit. Scan each unit separately. But if you do have a property with multiple stories, that still is just one continuous scan. So in those
Gotcha.
situations, we recommend starting in the lowest level, scan that entire floor without pausing or stopping the scan. You'll scan the staircase as you walk up to the next level, and then scan that entire level and so on.
And be careful.
Yeah, don't trip. You can watch the
Right.
stairs as you're walking up. Just point your device to the side.
Great, thank you. You're not taking a video that you need to show. It's really the dimensions. That's one thing to, oftentimes when
Correct.
we're walking around a house, we're showing the property off to our client. In
Correct.
this case, the whole purpose is to build that output, which is
Yes.
the floor plan. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. And that actually leads into what the next slide is, which is highlighting a complex property and kind of touching on the situation where if you have homes with multiple stories. So everything can be captured as part of one single scan. I always like to showcase this example here. It's a pretty non-traditional home. We've got curved walls on here, which are always a pain to measure. There's a pool in the backyard. There's an ADU off of the main property. All of this can be captured as part of one single scan. And like I was saying a second ago, the same process will be true for homes with multiple stories. You just need that one single scan. And how do you bring up a good point about noting that this isn't a video that's going to be shared. So if you have to backtrack a couple of times through the hallway or, whatever the case may be, don't worry about it. The actual order that you scan things in will not affect the floor plan itself. And even if you do get one of our 3D video products, which we'll give you a glimpse of in a couple minutes here, the route you take through the home does not matter. So the biggest thing to take away is just make sure you capture the entire perimeter of the interior of the space, and then the perimeter of any of those exterior spaces or features that you want factored into the floor plan itself. Now, once you've actually completed the scan, the floor plans will be available to download within 24 hours. We have partnered with San Francisco to offer unlimited free basic floor plans, which we call Light, and is what you see on the screen here. This is a really great option to start making floor plans a little bit more standard practice as you're getting your next listing put together. It's only going to take a couple of minutes, and best part of all, it's completely free. This option will cover properties up to 5,000 square feet of scanned area. So that will include the internal square footage, as well as any of those exterior spaces that you capture. This example here has a deck off the top of the home and then the porch along the bottom that you can see that will be factored into the total square footage. And again, you can save this with or without those room dimensions included. So the example that we see on screen here has each room labeled, followed by the dimensions of that space. If you want to just have that more like marketing type floor plan, like I mentioned a second ago, you can save that out without the room labels or the room dimensions included, just the labels. Now, with that scanning process, everything that we offer is created from that same 5-minute scan, and everything that we offer is a la carte. So you can pick and choose what's actually needed or wanted for each individual property. On top of the free basic floor plan, there are a number of different paid add-ons that you can select, paid upgrades. This slide here shows our 3 most popular floor plans. Light, of course, is that free basic one that we just looked at a second ago. Plus is an upgraded option. The biggest piece of this, I would say, when it comes to real estate is that fixed furniture is included. So you'll see things like appliances in the kitchen, if there's an island or wraparound countertop, all of that will be included, as well as fixtures in the bathrooms and wet spaces. So tubs, toilets, vanities, shower stalls, washers, dryers, all of that will actually be included on the floor plan itself. It also allows you to customize things, customize the color scheme. If you wanted to upload, your broker logo and then change up the colors to match your branding, that's an option for you. It will also include a couple of different reports, which we'll take a look at in a second here. A home report, which details key features of the home, and then snapshots, which we talked about a few minutes ago, which allows you to take photos as you're going through doing the scan. And then lastly, we've got Plus 3D. That includes everything that we've talked about thus far. And then as the name implies, introduces a 3D style floor plan. The 3D floor plan will have colors and textures matched to the space as closely as possible, and also include loose furniture. So things like sofas, beds, dining tables, all of that will actually be on the floor plan itself, just to help better visualize the space.
Great. I'm going to interrupt real quick because you have a couple of great questions.
Go for it.
And one of them is functional. So do you have to hold down the record button or just hit it and kind of go?
Yep, it's basically a start and stop button. So you
Great.
hit it once to start.
Yeah, it's kind of like dictating, like a dictating phone or something like that.
Yep.
Tom asks, can room names be modified manually in case the system's naming requires correction?
Yes, absolutely. So Daniela will give us a very quick look today at where you can do that. We'll also host a more in-depth webinar where we dive into editing and customizing your floor plans. We haven't booked it yet, so we'll get that on the books in a few weeks, hopefully, and that way you can learn a little bit more about what you can do with the floor plans once you create them.
And finally, a fun question that came in from my compliance person. I knew it was coming. It says, that's why I have my team on these calls so they can keep me on my toes. In the Plus version, how easy is it to generate both branded and unbranded floor plans? Do you guys offer the ability to do that?
Yes. So it's very easy to save out multiple styles and versions, and that's actually something I recommend. If you do get the Plus style, you can save out a basic, I always recommend like a simple black and white version that you can use for the listing itself. but then create something customized that you can use for your own marketing, Facebook marketing. If you want to print out the floor plan for a takeaway at an open house, that sort of thing, you can really go crazy with the customization and really make it match your branding and get fun with it. But it's really just a number or a couple of clicks to actually save out different styles and different versions.
All right. And one final question here. I believe that there's this is a question that you mentioned buyer's agents or agents that aren't listing agents being able to use this to get a sort of expression of the home. That is a suggested use case. And you could also say if the property is not on market, but someone is doing a listing presentation, that's perfectly acceptable within this arrangement as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So yeah. Aaron, yeah, you're good to use this on active or non-active listings. This is a marketing tool as well as a comprehensive listing tool as well. Thank you.
Yeah. And honestly, I recommend it for like listing presentation situations, just to show them what sort of cool marketing materials you can create.
I said that was the last question, but can you measure ceiling heights? This is an interesting one.
Yes. So with the GLA, which actually leads into what I'm going to show here, ceiling height will be included. So I'll actually just touch on this now because it falls in line with that question. But some of the additional add-ons that you can get, one of them is the GLA report or gross living area report. This is typically used by appraisers, and I'll actually give you a closer look at it in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
This will show the livable versus non-livable square footage of the space. And part of that is ceiling height. So if something typically, just depending on your municipality, if it's below 7 feet, it's not considered livable square footage.
Right.
And same with like if you have a partially finished basement, for example, that will be factored into the livable versus non-livable square footage. So ceiling height is factored in. It's not going to be actually listed on the floor plan itself unless you get the GLA where you'll have all of the specific measurements.
So that would be an add-on if that's something that you
Yes.
would want, the ceiling height. Okay.
Yep. If you need something specific, GLA will be your go-to. This is what, like I said, appraisers use. So this is the most accurate measurements that you can get from the scan.
Okay, and there's a lot of questions kind of getting into the weeds. I think what's going to be exciting is to definitely see how things go in the next couple of weeks, set up a more advanced session because our property types are really, you're just mentioning livable space. And given the fact that San Francisco is 7 by 7, 49 square miles, every single possible inch is used for housing. Yeah. I've been on open houses and seen some very surprising "quote unquote" livable spaces. Mm-hmm. So it's of course the fiduciary duty of the real estate agent to make sure that they are following all local housing laws, making sure that it is in fact a room. So this can be helpful. Maybe not the information your client wants to hear, but it is the most accurate and helpful information. Yes. So Lillian, some of your questions are a little bit more specific and maybe we'll get into that in a couple of weeks. It's really a lot of focus on the 2 floors kind of thing, multiple property, multiple units. That might take a little bit more advanced discussion.
Yep. We'll typically arrange that as sort of a 102 level class. This is meant to be kind of 101 introduction, but that is something that we will definitely get on the books to dive a little bit deeper into.
Great. Thank you. Let's continue.
Cool. And then these other 2 points here, I mentioned the free basic floor plans will be turned around within 24 hours and cover properties up to 5,000 square feet of scanned area. If you need a faster turn, that's an option for you. And then if you have a property that goes above that 5,000 square foot threshold, you can still absolutely scan the property. We can absolutely create the floor plan for it. There's just a cost associated with those larger properties due to the increased production cost on our end. Last thing to highlight here in terms of products or actually I want to take a closer look here at the different reports that I mentioned. So GLA, which we were just talking about a second ago, is that gross living area of the property. The results that you're going to get when you scan through this are aligned to ANSI standards. So it's actually exactly what appraisers use. You're going to get a simple PDF document that will have the actual floor plan image along the top and then include all of those different calculations. This is where you'll see things like the ceiling height factored in. But this will be available for you for any scan that you do, and you can come back after the fact too. So if you do just the free basic light floor plan and then say a week later you realize you need to check what the actual livable space is, you can just log into your account, pull up that floor plan and get the additional product after the fact.
A question about these digital GLAs is can you measure the GLA like an appraiser, which you've shown that includes the measurements to the exterior? Do you get exterior measurements as well here? You
Yes, so the
can, and
GLA
then
will include exterior.
great, and I guess I see it right there. The and the final question, and can it only show the GLA and not the room square footage? I think we'll get to that where you can uncheck square footage, or I'm not quite sure.
Yes.
He's saying not only he wants to only show the GLA and not the room square footage. It sounds like okay. We're getting
Yes.
into the advanced stuff already. This is what happens, Joseph.
I love it. It means people are excited, so that's a good sign.
Okay.
And then just a quick sample of some of the other reports that we touched on. So the home report, again, is just kind of that general overview of the property. This will have a cover page kind of outlining key details of the home, beds, baths, total square footage, that sort of stuff. And then it will dive into a level by level and room by room breakdown. So it makes it very easy to share things like the individual room dimensions with your clients. And then snapshots, again, allows you to take photos as you're going through scanning. And then you'll get that report at the end that actually shows the photo next to a floor plan, highlighting exactly where that photo was taken in the space. And then I do want to come back. I think this skipped over my 3D floor plan options here to show you what these are. It's jumping back and forth. I keep skipping that slide for some reason. Can you see the 3D slide? Yes. Okay. For some reason, it kept skipping this. I'm sorry. So with the 3D products, we looked at Plus 3D a couple of minutes ago. This is a style that a lot of apartment communities are already using. Like I said, it includes the loose furniture in the space, so it helps to just get a better visualization of the entire property with stuff in it. If you choose that option, you can get a video rendering, which will be a couple minute long walkthrough of that rendered space. And then the last thing to highlight there is that you can also get CAD files. So these are editable files. If you're going to be working with somebody who's going to flip the home, wants to remodel the kitchen, redo a bathroom, take down a wall, anything like that, this is a nice way to do all of that digitally before you actually go in and start any sort of renovation or demolition of the property. So last bit of sort of a teaser that I want to showcase for you is a product that we are finalizing right now, which will be launched in the next couple of weeks, included with all of our Plus floor plans that you choose is CubiCasa Tour. So the tour experience is created from the same 5-minute scan that you do of the property to create the floor plan. And then you can actually upload the listing photos that you take for the property, and we will match where they are within the space to create this virtual tour experience. And it looks like the edges are getting a little bit cut off with my screen share here, but I'm just tapping through the different photos here. And if you look at the floor plan, you'll notice that the hotspot is changing of where each of those photos was taken to kind of guide you throughout the space. And then the floor plan itself is actually interactive. So you can click through these different hotspots to actually get a guided tour throughout the space. Now, again, this experience is created from that same scan, so there's nothing additional that you need to do. You do not need to map out the photos yourself. You'll just upload the listing photos that you have. Our system will automatically tag where everything is within the space based on the floor plan that you created. And then you'll have this awesome virtual tour experience. It will be hosted on our end as well. So you'll have the custom URL that you can input into the virtual tour field or wherever you want to place it. Or if you just want to share it, through an email or whatever, you'll have that custom URL that will link directly to this tour experience. So just a really cool way to highlight the space. For me personally, I prefer this type of experience versus like the dollhouse type view. I think this is a little bit easier and cleaner just to click through and kind of walk through the space in your own head. But this will be available in the next couple weeks. We'll have all the sort of launch info ready. I'll share it with you. You can blast it out to your members. But this will be a really awesome tool that you can use with really no additional work to create awesome marketing materials for the home. So that covers basically everything that I wanted to touch on in terms of the actual product itself, the tool that you'll use to scan properties. From here, there's kind of two different paths that you can take. So if all of this sounds interesting to you, if floor plans are something that you want to start including with your listings, but maybe don't have the time for, or just don't want to do it yourself, which is totally understandable. The good news is we work with a number of photographers that actually include floor plans as part of their regular interior photo packages. So you can get connected with local photographers that we work with either by scanning this QR code, or it's actually accessible through the CubiCasa dashboard as well. It will take your geolocation where you're actually logging in from and show you local photographers that will do all of this for you. Now, on the flip side of that, if this all sounds exciting to you and you want to create the floor plans yourself, which I recommend, it is a fun experience. Do that test scan of your own home. You'll get a feel for it. But the good news is that we have an awesome support team who is always available. I'm always available. Danny's always available. You can reach us at any time. But we've also got chat baked into both the mobile app and desktop website. It's a little icon that will kind of follow you throughout to get connected with our support team to answer any sort of questions that you have. We also have a priority inbox for our MLS partners like you guys, which is just mlshelp@cubicasa.com.
And I'll say that most of the time, you guys will read this and you'll still contact the MLS team, which is fine. You can contact us, but don't be surprised if we sort of a warm transfer you over to the CubiCasa team. They're going to be the experts on this. Our primary focus is the MLS, as you know. Yeah, and the questions have died down, which means that I think people are getting the information they came here for. I think it's pretty apparent that we'll want to do a more of an advanced session in a few weeks. So thank you, Joseph, for mentioning that.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to get that on the books. Daniela will give us a quick look at the dashboard here in this session, just like a high-level overview. But I think that would be a recommended sort of next step. It sounds like there's interest in going into the customization and editing a little bit deeper. So we'll get that on the books. But for now, first up, of course, is to create the account if you haven't already. So you can click through that link on the MLS dashboard or scan the QR code, which I'll pull back up here in a second. Either option will automatically affiliate your SFAR membership on the CubiCasa side of things and pre-populate that discount for you. So that will be readily available. And then once the account is created, you'll be ready to start scanning and getting floor plans for all of your listings. It really could not be any easier, I promise. Download the app, do a test scan of your own home. You'll get familiar with the process. And then once you're ready to start scanning properties, you're going to be helping to give consumers exactly what they're looking for. And then again, helping yourself and your listings to actually stand out. So that's everything that I wanted to cover on my end. I'll pull up the QR code here for a second while I check in with Daniela to see if any additional questions have come through or any additional common questions that we get that she wants to share. And then I'll toss it over so she can give us that quick look at the dashboard and some of the features that you guys can start using today.
Thanks, Joseph. Well, it looks like we are good so far on questions, so I will go ahead and jump right into the dashboard to give you guys just a quick preview of how simple it is to navigate. So, Joseph, just give me the thumbs up once the screen is shared.
We're good.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So once you have created your CubiCasa accounts, like Joseph showed you in the earlier slides, you'll have access to your CubiCasa app on your mobile device and the CubiCasa dashboard that I have pulled up here on the screen for us. Both are the same accounts. The only difference is that you are scanning through the app. Once you send your scans for processing, they will be available under your dashboard version under computer or desktop. And here is where you'll have more accessibility to customize your floor plans. So you'll always land on your dashboard page that I have pulled up here. At the top, you will have local photographers that are within our preferred photographer network that provide a CubiCasa floor plan for all of their photography packages. So if you're too busy to create a scan yourself, go ahead and click on any of their websites, check them out, and you can order a floor plan through them as well. Below, you will have access to your most recent orders. And to click on any order, it's really simple. You will just select that address. From here, a few things to cover that you will see on every order page within your account is at the top, you'll have access to different tabs depending on the products that you have selected when ordering through the app. If you ever decide to upgrade an order once it's already been delivered, you can always do that under the upgrade icon. So if you ordered the basic 2D and your client would really love to see a 3D floor plan as well, you can always do that retrospectively here. Simply select which add-ons you would like. You will get your MLS discount code, and then you will receive an email once those new products have been delivered back to you. Going back to our main screen here, you'll be able to preview your floor plan. And to make adjustments to your floor plan, there are two ways to do that that I will quickly share with you. The first one is your quick edit function. Once you open this tool, you will be redirected to a new tab, which will give you access to our quick editor. So this, like the name implies, is to make quick, easy changes to your floor plans. We received some questions on that before, such as changing labels or moving things around. You will land on the All Floors page, and the thing that you can do here, for instance, is to adjust the label of the floor level. So maybe floor 1 really needs to be the basement. You will just click on that label, type in the new label you want, hit enter, and those new labels will be adjusted for you. You can even rearrange how you want those floors to look like within your page as well. Now, to adjust things within a specific floor level, all you have to do is go to the upper right-hand corner right here, and then select the floor. So let's go to floor 2. And here you can make adjustments to the level itself. So to make adjustments to, for example, the labels, you'll click that specific label. You can drag it around with your mouse to adjust the positioning, and this black box will appear at the top right corner. From here, you can simply adjust the label to anything that you would like that would make more sense to your client. You can even remove the label entirely if you want. And you can even choose to hide dimensions from your floor plans if you want to only display specific dimensions. So that will be through this dimension icon here at the top. And all you have to do is simply select which dimensions to show or hide, or select if you want to add them again. So pretty easy to use. Another cool feature is if you have the Plus package, you can even adjust the fixtures within the floor plan as well. So for instance, if this refrigerator needs to be moved more to this side, or if it just needs to be completely deleted, you can do that through the quick edit as well. There are other functions that we will cover more in our in-depth editing tool, and for the sake of time, I won't be able to cover everything. However, Joseph will link a Help Center article that will give you step-by-step instructions on everything that can be done with the quick edit tool, and with step-by-step instructions for you as well. But once you save your changes to the quick edit, it will just take a few minutes to load, and it will be automatically updated within your screen. So that was for quick changes, but anything that's a little bit more complicated or involves any missing spaces can be done through that change request function right below that. So this will also apply for any changes specifically to 3D products as well. At the top, you will simply select which product you would like to adjust. And going under the New Request tab, you can add as many changes as you want within one change request ticket. So don't feel limited. And I always encourage you to upload any reference photos, especially for design changes on 3Ds or any missing spaces. Since we can't access the scan footage directly, that will be very helpful for our specific team to make those adjustments. Once those have been sent for us, you will receive an email notification letting you know once those changes have been made and the order is ready for you to download again. So that's pretty much it when it comes to your order page. Another important thing I want to cover is if you already had a CubiCasa account prior to our partnership with your MLS, you can still add your unique referral discount code to your account. And all you have to do is go under the settings tab here on the left navigational panel, go under company, go under your MLS membership tab. And here you will see that the discount code has been already applied to the account. So if you want to confirm, that's a very easy way to do that. But if you don't, you can simply type in your MLS name, San Francisco Association of Realtors, your MLS login ID, select verify account, save, and then that discount code will be applied to your account here. The next tab is your billing. So here you'll be able to see a quick snapshot view of your current monthly bill if you choose to go with any paid products. And below will be a history of your billing. We do bill on a monthly basis for any orders submitted on the previous 30 days. This will not include any free light orders, and we do not have any hidden subscription fees or anything like that. You only pay per scan if you decide to go with any paid packages. So just want to make that clear. And to see a specific invoice, all you have to do is select View Detail, and you will get a breakdown of all the charges that are included per order for that billing cycle.
Daniela, in terms of your the dashboards that were the reports that you create, do those just stay forever? And I mean, is there a limit of how many of my historical floor plans can stay in the CubiCasa platform?
That's a great question. So yes, there is a 3-month limit where just
Okay.
the images themselves will be removed. However, you can generate them again through the quick edit tool. So you will always have access to any orders, but if they are past 3 months, you'll just have to regenerate them again to
Okay.
see the images.
I mean, I could download them if I want to, the package if I want to.
Yes, you'll always have access to download, correct?
Thank you.
Great question. Perfect. And the last thing I'll cover with you guys today is your styling. So for those that are interested in the plus and above packages, you will have the option to customize your floor plans to different colors, font styles, and other important features as well. You can see I have multiple templates created. You can have multiple templates for different customers or different kinds of properties. So it's unlimited. And if you're new with us, you won't have any created, so you can get started by selecting Create New. From here, you can just go through all the different options that we have available, such as language. So if you have a Spanish client, you can change the floor plan labels to Spanish. You can also adjust how the measurement dimensions appear within the floor plan as well. And then there was a question on adding or removing logos. That will be done through this option here. So you can either add or remove your logos or have 2 different styles, with one with a logo and without, depending on the order that you have. Below that is where you'll be able to customize the colors within your floor plan. The example I was showing earlier had our earth tones, which is our most popular template of colors, but you can also get more creative or unique as you want with the options available here. You'll even have the option to adjust the label text style. So this includes things like the font family, the color, even how you want the letters to be casted within your floor plan. Now, each floor plan does come with a disclaimer text at the bottom that notes that floor plans are created by the CubiCasa app. Measurements are deemed highly reliable, but not guaranteed. This will be automatic for all light orders, but if you have plus and above, you can actually entirely remove this disclaimer text or add your own if you're more comfortable with that option.
Which we would never recommend you remove any disclaimer text on square footage. Thank you.
Good call out. Exactly. And the last thing I want to cover that's pretty important is the different measurement methods that we include for our floor plans. So the light free version does not come with total calculations at the bottom. It only includes interior dimensions of each room. The plus will come with gross internal area. So this is the interior wall-to-wall square footage of a property. It does not include exterior wall dimensions or any outdoor spaces. And lastly, the GLA includes the gross living area. You might be more familiar with this. This is the standard measurement unit that appraisers use, and also the square footage that you are more likely to see in public or county records. So depending on what measurement method you need to have displayed, you will select that option here. Now, you don't need Plus to have GLA. You can actually order the GLA alone with the light, and it will automatically appear for you, so you won't need to make any changes here. But if you do go with the Plus and GLA, you can select what measurement you want to display within your style. And of course, if you want the Plus with no measurements at the bottom at all, you can also unselect this feature entirely. Once you are done making all the changes to your style, you will just save as new, and that template will appear for you here. If you want to create multiple templates, you can choose which one will be your default automatically on the app, so you don't even have to worry about selecting it. Now, one last note is it won't automatically update all your past orders that have already been delivered. If you need to do that, it's pretty easy. Just go back to that order page and select Change Style and select the style that you just updated or created. It will load for 3 to 4 minutes and it will appear for you on the order page. So that is everything I wanted to cover with you guys today. Last note is you'll notice this chat bubble following you around the screen that Joseph mentioned earlier. You will be able to access our Help Center knowledge base from this chat. It's a keyword searchable database, so you'll be able to find everything that we covered today in the webinar here. And if you need more one-on-one assistance, our customer support team is available for you via this live chat bit widget. And you just simply send us a message and we'll get a hold of you right away.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to hit a couple questions here. I don't know if we can go back to that pricing slide if possible, because there's questions coming about the pricing. We want to be 100% transparent about how this relationship is working with CubiCasa. So I'll just go through a couple of them. The first one is, can you change the language on the light free version? We already established that on the light free version, you cannot change the language of the disclaimer. But we already reviewed the language of the disclaimer with our board of directors team and with MLS and Tech, and we were comfortable with it, if that helps. Second question, would you repeat what iPhone level is required for best floor plan practices? I think, Joseph, you mentioned at least the 15. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted. You're muted. Can't hear you. There you go.
About that. No, so Daniela, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think on the iPhone side of things, it's anything past the 8 or newer.
That's
then
correct.
For Android devices, we just need the augmented reality kit in the device. And those have been prevalent for anything within like the last 10 years. We actually have a link on our Help Center article, or an article on our Help Center rather, that lists out all the compatible devices.
Great. Second question. I think this is where it got confusing. The Plus plan is a monthly plan, $15 with many plus floor plans, or is it plus $15 per floor plan? If I unravel that a little bit, I'll just say the light package on the left is what every San Francisco member gets, a San Francisco Association member. The rest are add-ons. So there's no, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, there's no monthly fee. There's no subscription-based setup. Yeah,
Correct.
it's all a la carte. So that means, for example, you could try the lights for most of your listings or your buyer's presentation. You're like, you know what? I got this really great listing coming up, or for a list, I want to do a banger a listing presentation. Let's just do Plus this time and maybe do GLA. I really look at it like it's an a la carte, depending upon the type of service or the listing that you want to generate the service for.
Yeah, it's all per use. You can pick and choose what's wanted or needed for each property.
Oh, I totally messed up Veronica's. This is funny. Veronica is asking, I didn't mean language like words. I meant changing it to another language like Spanish in the light package. My bad. So does it support languages other than maybe translating you might have on Google? But does it?
Yes. Yes, you can change that with your style settings.
Correct.
See, they have all the answers. And I think I expected a short webinar, but I'm so stoked. We almost went an hour, guys, which means you have some great questions.
For keeping everybody, but we were getting good questions. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we still most of the folks stuck around, which is always good. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to I'm going to record this webinar is being recorded. We'll edit it. It will be on the SFAR social channel. If you are not subscribed to this, I really recommend you just go into Google and type in SFAR social, and you'll be directed for a fantastic YouTube channel. I'm going to drop this into the chat. If you have not subscribed for this, you really should do it, because this is where you're going to find all of our videos. So just subscribe to that channel. And later today, probably more like by Wednesday, you'll have the video up there on that channel. Our typical turnaround time is 2 days from our trainings, and they're all made available. And guys, thank you so much for taking the time. And we're going to do this again, likely towards the end of the month of October. We have some other stuff that's coming on. Plus, I always know when people say something's available in 2 weeks, give yourself another 2 weeks to make sure it's available with new applications and all that. But thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Joseph, for joining us. We'll have another session soon. And guys, take advantage of the free offering. Check it out. Scan your home. Be careful walking up the stairs, and then jump into some other stuff. But have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye,
Take care.
guys.